I'm Brandon Miller. I'm 36 years old. I'm originally from Battle Creek, Michigan, now living in Boise, Idaho. I think I'd explain it first as kind of like an invisible disease. A lot of diseases you can see that the person is struggling, or there's some tell sign. CF, unless you're really coughing a lot, which nowadays a lot of patients aren't, you don't know. You don't know what they're going through, you don't know they have CF. But when I first started doing this race, like, people would hear my cough and they go, I know that sound, that's a patient. I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis at birth. So my diagnosis was, you have 21 years of maybe good time, and then he might not make it beyond that, or if he does, who knows what the quality of life will be. So it was a bit grim. From what I understood, they didn't want to make my parents panic. So it wasn't necessarily failure to thrive, it was just, we don't know how long he'll have. It was very different from outside of home to home. So they kind of kept me sheltered a little bit, not very much. Like, I was still playing sports because they wanted me to be active. But at home, it was fairly sheltered. It was, pretty strict. You gotta eat as much as you possibly can. You gotta do your treatments. So enzymes with every single meal. It was 4 to 6 enzymes with every meal, which was tough to remember as a kid. So your parents were always shoving them in your face, or even when I was a little kid, my parents would sprinkle them in my mashed potatoes. So I did not like mashed potatoes growing up because I thought they were crunchy. And then it was 2 hours-ish of nebulizers. And when I was younger, also a steroid inhaler, a flutter, which kids nowadays probably won't know what that is, but it was a little steel ball in a cylinder, and you would blow into it for about 5 to 10 seconds, and then breathe again, and then blow as hard as you can again, and it would vibrate that ball, which helped to vibrate your lungs, which is what the vests do nowadays. So a lot of people didn't get to see the CF life like my parents did. So a lot of my friends didn't know I had CF until I was later in high school. Having to be more responsible with my treatments on my own it was a challenge at first. Not the easiest thing, because you want to go out with friends, you want to be out all night, you want to just have fun, but then you've got an hour and a half to 2 hours of treatments that you still have to do. So it was tough to stay super diligent and do it every single day. But eventually you start to feel the side effects of not doing them, and you realize that's way worse than just going home a little earlier than your friends. That solidified that, okay, the treatments are more important than a couple extra hours being out with friends. So my exercise journey started pretty much with rock climbing, but that wasn't very much of a long workout, so I wasn't seeing better numbers. And then when I started running, when I met my wife, things got a lot better, and I started to actually feel my lungs improve. Woo! But the first runs, they were hard. They legit sucked. Like, they were bad runs for me. They were slow, they were painful. I was coughing up a storm every 10 seconds. So you're constantly battling yourself while you're running. The first 3-4 months, I don't think I enjoyed hardly any run. I knew it was good for me, which is why I continued, but I didn't like it. And then once I finally got to the point where my lungs were getting better, I really enjoyed it, and I could go farther. It was a little bit easier. I wasn't coughing quite as much. My lung function would usually go up throughout the summer and then kind of plateau in the midwinter and then come back down. And it didn't go up. And I was like, well, I'm still working out a ton, I'm still running, I'm still doing my treatments. What's going on? And it seemed like the only factor that we could come up with as a team was age. I was getting older, and that was a tough realization. That felt like something out of my control, and that was tough to get over. That was like, okay, I either gotta step up my training, I can't step up the treatments because what else can I do? And yeah, that was hard. I probably had a solid month after that appointment where I was pretty down and was kind of hard on myself, wasn't working out as much, and started to feel worse again. Like, I'm not running as much, I'm not working out as much, so not feeling as good. And I was like, well, so I still got to keep that up. I still got to stay diligent, do what I can. I might not have the numbers I've always had, but I can at least keep them from getting worse. So that's just what I did until Trikafta came out, and I could get better numbers. Pre-Trikafta, exercising was very, very difficult. Constantly coughing. Every 10 seconds I would be hacking up a lung on a run, and so you're flexing your whole body, you're coughing stuff up, you're interrupting your breathing, and then trying to find that rhythm again. Trikafta comes along, and I was hoping for a better lung function, which I didn't get the better lung function, like my numbers didn't go up, but I don't cough anymore. I just don't create any more sputum, which is really weird. I don't culture any bacteria. I feel like I don't have CF. I'd essentially call it a cure for me because I just don't feel sick. And I could run farther and I could do everything better and it wasn't as hard. But there's still people out there that don't have Trikafta and they still have to struggle with that. And yeah, it's the mental game is what you don't see. Trying to motivate yourself when you're feeling that awful is not easy. So I'd like to say the motivation was myself, but it was more my wife. She helped push me through the hard days, the hard weeks, hard months. She knew when to push me, when to let me relax, or when to just tell me to go home. To not be able to motivate yourself sometimes, it's good to have the person on the sidelines, whether it's family, friends, your spouse, to really be able to kind of see the moment for what it is and push you. So RockCF came into our lives when Jo, my wife, she was like, well, I wonder if there's like a 5K or something that we can do that is either like fundraising for CF or is an actual CF event. And so she Googled it and found that, yeah, Emily Schaller and the RockCF Foundation are right here in Michigan doing their own race. And so we signed up for it, trained, and found out that it's just an absolutely amazing foundation and does so many good things for so many people. And so younger generations, I think, need to understand that it's a disease and it's life-threatening, but it doesn't have to, you don't have to be treated like a patient. Like, you can be treated like everyone else. You're gonna go out there, you're gonna do amazing things just like everyone else does. And I think that's really important, to not be seen as like some sick patient, just another person, just going through different things than everyone else. So our first race together was the RockCF Rivers Half Marathon in 2012. And so to get to feel like more of a part of the community than I had been in a little while was super cool. And like, we were training 5 or 6 days a week. It was absolutely amazing. I knew I would finish, but doubt that I would have the time that I thought would motivate me to continue. Like, I thought I might not be good enough where like I'll see my time and go, well, I'm just not good at this, so why continue doing it? But it felt so good to cross the finish line. I was like, no, I want to continue doing this. I want to do better and better and better, and I want to push myself until I can't push myself anymore. So at that time, no new treatments had come out. I was off the steroids by then, but I still had my Pulmozyme, my hypertonic saline. It was still very taxing, just wasn't fun. So I'm shooting for my first sub 130 half. I did a 130.48 last fall in Boise, and that was kind of brutal to miss it by less than a minute. So hopefully it's not too much of a headwind tomorrow where I can put forth my best foot and get it done.
Definitely.
Shorts is the right idea for the race, but I should have brought fleece-lined sweatpants for pre-race. So now I get to shiver. This half marathon means so much because It's the first half marathon I did, and it just reaches a community of not only great runners, but just great people coming out to support a great thing. Not everyone knows what CF is. Not everyone that runs this race even knows what CF is. But if they come here and they see what Emily's doing and they see what the patients that are running the race are doing, and then they go back and they tell just a couple people what it is and how cool it is, that's a couple more people that might tell a couple more and a couple more. And soon CF awareness is just spreading, and we can get more attention on such a crucial issue. So I want to show people that patients can push, they can push hard, and they can do really difficult things. That's kind of my overall goal. But really, I love seeing Emily, and just seeing other people in your CF community doing cool things will also help inspire me. I want other patients to see this, and I want them to do even better things. I want them to say, I can do that even better. I can do that better than the people that are pushing themselves super hard now, and I know I can, because they're doing it. Especially for anyone in the CF community, if you're starting, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be extra hard, especially if you still have a cough. You're gonna wanna quit. I wanted to quit, like a lot. But if you stick with it, you'll feel so much better. And that's CF patient or not, like you will feel better eventually. But you have to push through. But if you keep going, it is so worth it. You feel so good. You surround yourself with such a community at these races. You might not know anyone in the race that you're doing, but like I've had several races where I meet someone either mid-race or near the end where you're hurting, and you stick with them and you just have this great conversation with them. Or even if you don't talk at all, you just kind of get a nod. You know that person now. And that person went through something with you that not a lot of people do. And that's really cool to have that community.